Good afternoon, legends. Welcome to another episode of the Aussie OCR podcast. We are 3 episodes deep with the new structure branching off into Aussie OCR from Chat from Matt. And we've chatted to a couple of athletes recently. Today I'm pretty excited to be chatting to Rob from Dingo Sandbags. And Aussie owned and operated, Dingo was founded by Rob Harvey, a strength and conditioning coach who became interested in the unconventional training methods he found employed when studying some of the world's best fighters, soldiers, and tactical operators. Now, Dingo's mission is to deliver the world's strongest sandbags and expert training systems that will inspire, empower, and motivate their customers to be at their physical best. If you've run an OCR event in Australia, you've most likely had one of these sandbags in your hands. They're supporting the True Grit Enduro that I'm going to be at in about 3 weeks. They're also supporting the Mackenzie Method training camp that I'll be at this weekend. So, yeah, really pumped to see how Dingo got so involved in supporting the OCR world. But let's bring Rob on and have him tell us all about it. Rob, how are you, man?
Hey Matt, good to see you. Yeah, I'm well, thanks.
Good to hear. Good to
Yeah,
hear.
nice to be here.
Thanks for taking the time out of your Tuesday afternoon to have a chat with me.
Pleasure.
And
Yeah.
I know you said you this may be a bit of a briefer podcast than some that I'm used to. I know you're doing a bit of strength and conning work for a footy team. Did you say this afternoon?
Yeah, it's just a local amateur club. I've moved back to Port Macquarie. This is my hometown, and
Yep.
so it's very amateur, but still inspirational. Met some lovely kids and some good athletes, even amongst an amateur group. Um,
Nice.
far far cry from last year. Last 2 years, I was with Ramwick, so that's a Premier Division rugby union team, and so that was that next level, and that was really exciting to be part of.
Yeah, cool. So have you always been involved in this strength and conning world? How did you get on this pathway?
Well, just through passion. Basically, I'm always inspired by elite athletes, and that's the one of my values in whether I'm doing personal training or whether I'm, in this business of Dingo Sandbags. So I was always like, how did they get to where they got to, and what did it take? And so strength and conditioning was something that I wanted to study. It started off with researching periodization, um, you know, Tudor Bomper and reading all those books, and then just led me into getting my level 1 strength and conditioning certification. Just recently got my level 2, and then being part of the, like I mentioned before, Ramwick. So it's never been a full-time gig or something that I've earned a lot of money out of, or any money out of, actually, but it's just something I'm quite passionate about. And now, helping a local rugby club with what I've learned, and bringing what I've learned from Ramwick. So um, yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of PT work, and I used to try and treat my clients like athletes in terms of writing long-term programs and things like that. And it's just a different kettle of fish, and a lot of them, appreciate it, but it's probably a bit of overkill for that client base. But yeah, so anyway, yeah.
Cool. Cool. And how long has Dingo been a thing? So how long's Dingo been around?
It's actually the idea kicked off about 2013, and the reason it did is because I was following this guy over in the US called Mark DeGrasse. He had this My Mad Methods website, and it was all unconventional training, like battle ropes, sandbags, of course, sledgehammers. It wasn't barbells and dumbbells and just all the conventional stuff you see in gyms. Now, all that stuff is conventional, like, battle ropes, kettlebells, things like that. And out of that, I was studying kettlebells, and I did some courses, and then I needed some sandbags, and I bought some sandbags from the US, and it cost me $500 to get 2 sandbags. I got the brute force sandbags, great sandbags, but I thought, why? How come no one's got this in Australia? Um, like I remember 10 years ago, or not even that, 8 years ago, you were lucky to find a gym with kettlebells in it. And now I think every gym in Australia has kettlebells in it. And I firmly believe that will be the case with sandbags. And so I thought this was a great idea. It was like my entrepreneurial light bulb moment. And no one's specializing in Australia. And that that changed my direction and my goal. I said, that's it. I want to be Australia's sandbag specialist. I want to make the best sandbag in the world and be the go-to person in Australia. So that's kind of my personal mission, as well as, I guess, Dingo Sandbags as a company. That's what we're striving for, to be, expert sandbag and make it our niche. So that was where it all stemmed from. A need.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And I look, I love, training with some weird and wonderful things. I'm a huge fan. Actually, sort of how this sort of transpired, and how this chat ended up coming about was I very regularly have clients turn up at my house, and they're like, what are we doing today? I'm like, see that 20-kilo sandbag? You're gonna throw that on your shoulder, and we're gonna go for a 5K walk, and we're just gonna do a heap of shit with it on the way. And I love that. Like, I just love getting outside, going on a hike, taking a sandbag, throwing it on your shoulder. It's versatile, and it's not it's not just specifically a sandbag. Sometimes it's a kettlebell, sometimes it's something like that. It's moving, and it's just getting outside. It's not just barbell work. And I had a client, Corey, that we were working out with a sandbag, and I dropped it and it split. And I'm like, well, fuck, I need a new sandbag. And then I looked into I'd sort of seen your company before, obviously at True Grit, and looked into it, and then realized that you were sponsoring Liam McKenzie, so I thought we'd jump on this chat. But one thing that I see is, and you just mentioned it then, is making the world's best sandbags. So, where did that sort of develop? Because if you look at, a sandbag you can get at Kmart compared to yours are a fair bit more rugged and durable. Why is that?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Look, we're on our third version, and it's still not perfect. I'm currently developing a next fourth version, or fourth generation, however you want to put it, to try and iron out the issues. And it just comes from, any warranty issues, any feedback from customers that we have who have bought them and saying, this is split or this didn't work. So. And the good thing is now, we've had a design team, and we're very unique at the start, like, pretty much just copied and pasted another style of sandbag, which is what a lot of people tend to do. I'm not proud to admit that, but that's the truth of it. And then, we've made lots of mistakes trying to find the right supplier. Like the first place we found in China, we asked for YKK zips, and they put this fake zipper on there, a fake YKK. Like you can go to Bali and buy a fake pair of Oakleys or something. Well, apparently you get fake YKK zippers, and we paid for the proper ones. And anyway, thank God they took it all back, and we were able to get a new supplier and get that fixed up. But just little hiccups we've had along the way and problems. So we're evolving, and we're now at a point where I'm confident, but the customers will tell the story at the end of the day, whether it is or isn't, and how much warranties and claims we get back in terms of people complaining about things breaking. But I'm pretty confident that the next sandbag will be next level, and it will be the best and the most durable in the world. And I'm not trying to say that to brag about the business, but that's the ultimate goal. And we do test it that way. And it's the cost of it is doubled. And the testing involves just literally me standing on a ledge and just slamming it, picking it up, slamming it, picking it up, slamming it, just real world stuff, just to try and, demolish it. Yeah, exactly. Battle test it. We also, the supplier we've got, they are a huge supplier. They deliver, they make 511 gear. So, like the tactical gear, chest plate, really solid bags and everything. They've got this testing room, I guess you call it, and it's just got every kind of test under the sun, like, zipper testing, waterproof testing, this yank test that it just rips handles off bags, and you can test the what is it, the tension strength of material, of threads and everything. So it's all, we've compared so many different materials, different style stitching, different. So, and we've even bought competitor bags and put them in the lab and compared them. So basically when I make this call, I can't be 100%, but I'm pretty confident in this next product that's coming out. So it's exciting. So hopefully when we get it, that's our one that we can just stick with.
Yeah, cool. I'm excited for it too. I'm waiting for the
Yeah.
next ones. I know I'll be buying a set of them. Would they be the photos that are on your website at the moment? I've got
No,
your
that's the
website up here.
current bag,
That's the current
and
one.
you'll notice that we're pretty much out of stock. So I've
Yeah.
purposely not ordered more of that same stock because I don't want to have more of that bag when the better one's coming.
Sure.
So yeah. So
Just
I mean,
to
look,
put it in perspective too, like I've seen the Dingo Sandbags. I think definitely at last year's True Grit, potentially at the True Grit before that as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
Um,
definitely, yeah.
you got to look at what's happening to a sandbag during an enduro, overnight enduro
Mm,
that's in the rain, in the heat. Like these things are getting dropped. They're getting dropped in the rocks, on the gravel. Like um, they're a durable sandbag to begin with. Like if you took most of your
yeah.
standard gym bags out and threw them in on a True Grit course, they wouldn't last
Mm,
very long. So your sandbags are very durable to begin with. Um,
yeah.
so it's good to see that you're just constantly innovating and trying to find those holes and trying to pressure test things. And the
Yeah.
511 tactical gear is that's really good. That's because I do a lot
Mm,
of the endurance stuff. So I do a lot of like the hurricane heats and stuff like that.
mm, mm,
Um,
mm.
so I've got a Rush 12, I've got a Rush 24,
Yep.
and they're pretty hard to kill, man.
I
They're
know. Yeah, they're amazing.
they're
I've got the 24 as well. Used it for like adventure racing is what I use it for.
yeah
Perfect. Love it.
yeah. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I regularly go on hikes with my 24 and I'll throw a
Yeah.
25-kilo sandbag in the pack and then
Really.
take that
Yeah.
on the hike. Yeah, and
Yeah.
the straps are just strong. So, did you say they're your actual supplier, 511? So it's coming out of the
Not
same.
511, but the factory that makes 511, the supply for 511 is the same people that we use.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
stumbled across them, which was just, by coincidence. And yeah,
yeah,
and look, it's just the thing is with them, you know, for example, 511 are spending, I don't know if I'm privy to say this, but this is not coming from 511, this is coming from the supplier. They
yeah.
showed us a couple of the brands. 511 are spending about $10 to $11 million a year. So when I walk in there wanting to spend, 150, 200,000, I'm just like a drop in the ocean. And I think that I'm a big deal to a supplier in China. I might be a bit of a big deal, but I'm just nothing. So I try and
Yeah.
say, look, can we bargain, this much off the bag? And they're just like, you don't really have any bargaining chips. But and then I've got to buy a lot of them because they're not interested in small orders. So
Yeah.
it's a tough decision, but it's worth having that supplier, just the peace of mind, the quality
100%.
control they have, and so yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You get what you pay for too. Like
exactly. Yeah,
I've had merch and stuff made in China, and it's fucking hit and miss,
yeah.
man. You gotta
Never
get
again.
samples.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
uh
yeah.
it's dangerous. So a couple of guys are jumping on live. We've got Ilka from AFOS is here. Dominique is here. Scotty's here. Adrian Mannix, Andrew Nan, Corey, Dora, Lisa, and Dora's up to speed sandbags. So if you guys do have any questions about sandbags or functional training or what you can do with these sandbags, what's some of the cool shit you can do with them, that ask away. Rob, I'm just going to jump onto your website real quick,
Mhm.
and we'll have a little bit of a look after I just move some of these overlays around my screen. So just bear with me a sec.
Yep.
Um, haha. Now we're cooking. So these are the sandbags. Now, I saw you actually, you don't just provide the gear, you do some workouts and give them some stuff and different stuff they can do with them. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, absolutely. So part of the vision and the mission is to not just provide the most durable and best sandbag, but it's to be the expert. So in being the expert, we want to have training systems in place, which is the project that I'm working on at the moment. So we're developing a CEC workshop, which you can do through Fitness Australia,
Cool.
and which that's not ready, but that's in the pipeline and should be ready by maybe June, July this year.
Cool.
And also we do have some programs, which was we've got two programs, a beginner and intermediate program, and they're quite suitable for especially obstacle course racing, like the program 2. We've got, there's over 100 exercises on the website.
Wow.
So they're incredibly versatile, and anything that you can pretty much do with a barbell or a dumbbell or a kettlebell even, you can do with a sandbag, like
Yeah.
you can, or your squats, pushes, pull. The only thing you can't really do is, you can't do your pull up, you can't do, a row. So I like suspended fitness straps. I think they're a great tool that
Like a TRX.
complement sandbag. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
TRX, crank it. They're great because then you get your pulling movement and your suspended work with those two tools. You're laughing, and of course lots
Yeah.
of others, like yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I sent a couple of clients out when COVID sort of hit because a lot of my guys had gym access
Mm,
that was obviously revoked when the gyms closed, and they're like, "Fuck, Matt, what do I do? I'm not going to be able to train." I'm like, "Well, you
mm,
don't need a lot. You know, if you can throw something like a sandbag in." And I had them like, I had some clients who were like just driving from like Kmart to Kmart to Kmart, just trying to find
mm.
these like adjustable sandbags because you just couldn't get shit anywhere.
Yeah.
Um, but it was just, try and find something that's resistance, and they are really versatile for sort of what you
Mm.
get. You get a lot of bang for buck out of them. What are some of your favorite exercises? Have you got a couple of favorites here? We might try and bring some up.
Oh, 100%. Well, I just think the clean, the simple, the clean. I love to do the clean, the snatch. Um, yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Um,
How many exercises did you say you got a library of?
there's over 100 in the library.
Cool.
So the training system it's a system of progression, as well as it's not just like here's 20 exercises, this is how you do them.
Yeah.
It's more about how you incorporate sandbags into a training program. So um, for example, the first stage of a training program might be just getting the foundations, which would be balance, coordination. So this exercise might be part of the foundations, for example.
Yeah.
Like just getting stability, and then as you progress, you might go to just general preparation phase, which is just
Mm.
just what it's like just general exercises, squats, presses,
GPP.
pushes. And then you go into your strength, serious strength, and that's when you want to get just basically something heavy and do your lifts really
Yeah.
heavy. And then you got power, so then you do like your snatches. So there's 100 exercises, but the system really puts it into context about what exercise you use depending on what you're aiming for. And because the strength and conditioning background is, the system would really help athletes even in obstacle course races, for example. You've got your general phase where you're just building up your mileage and just doing general movements, and then right before your obstacle course race, you might hit a strength and power block or something like that, and then
Yeah.
hook in.
It was it
Yeah.
was
So
funny. It was funny you were talking about you sent me a little bit of a bio and said the info about Mark DeGrasse and
yes.
his website, Mad Methods, I
Mm,
think it was.
yep.
And you were saying, a lot of the people who contributed to that site were like your tactile, your
Yeah.
tactical operators and your Navy SEALs, and the guys who
Yeah.
described themselves as hard to kill. And I
Yeah.
was like, that's That's fucking really cool because I
Yeah.
don't know if you know, I do a podcast called Harder to Kill, a video
Do you
podcast,
really?
very
Yeah,
very
nice.
similar to this. It's literally
Yeah.
called Harder to Kill, and I think the last or the second last episode we did was GPP versus SSB, so general physical preparedness, and then you go into
Hmm.
sport specific training,
Hmm.
sport specific preparation right in. So, mate,
Hmm.
we're 100% speaking the same language here, and this is the stuff
Yeah.
that I teach clients. Um, but it's they're just a cool bit of gear, and it is specific to obstacle races. You sponsor True Grit. If you're running around an
Yeah.
obstacle course, you're gonna have one of these things on your shoulders, or wherever is
Yep.
most comfortable for you at the time. How
Yeah.
did you
Yeah.
how did you get into the OCR world?
Um, actually, True Grit approached me first, and then I guess that gave me exposure to athletes like Liam, and Chris Woolley, for example. He was one of the first
Great
ones to
blokes.
get the bag. He bought a really heavy bag off me, I think. Shane
Crazy.
Yost. Shane
Yossi.
Shane Yost
Absolutely.
is he does a lot of my exercise demonstrations. So
Yeah.
these guys walked past my stall when I had at the Fitness Expo, and then I saw them do some work, and they posted some stuff on Instagram, and I was inspired by how good they are and how
Yeah.
strong and gritty. Andrew Papp's another one. He's got a military, or he's army background, and now he's just a great ambassador for fitness in general. But he loves those, just crazy endurance events and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, as mentioned, I've done a few adventure races myself. I've done a number of obstacle course races, so that's something that I'm quite interested in as well. So I guess it just general. I guess that's my interest, and it just certainly suits the product, as you
Yeah.
mentioned. Yeah, um, yeah, and actually, from a business perspective, I've seen the results of uh, you know, spending money, contributing to people you know, who are into that kind of thing, like sponsoring True Grit, throwing a few products out to people that are passionate about their sport, um, like Liam McKenzie. Like, he's phenomenal. He's got such a positive outlook, and him and his partner. So it works both ways, definitely. And yeah,
100%. Yeah, 100%. And you've got a pretty good, few ambassadors that you listed there as far as presence
yeah,
and who they are online, like Pap, Yosti, they're all
yeah, yeah,
Liam McKenzie and Beck are amazing.
yeah.
So it sounds like you're aligning yourself with the right people to
Yeah, that's the
drive
plan.
it,
And
which
now
is good.
you, so that's another bonus.
Well,
Yeah.
I've just got to get my sandbag, mate. I'm already doing crazy shit. They just don't have Dingo logos. But I'm
Well, we'll
waiting for
sort
that.
that
I'm
out.
waiting for that new gear to come in.
Yeah.
Um, I think when did you say the new stuff? June, July?
June, July. So that bag that you're seeing on screen, that's staying
This is
as
just for
is.
me.
I've only had one return of over 1,600 of those sold, and that's from a broken buckle. So the bag held up. So and we fixed the buckle, no worries, that was easy. But that product is staying as is. The other bags are changing to a different design, and then we're also incorporating a different type of product, which is a sand ball. So
Yeah,
sand ball is obviously works as a medicine ball and as a kettlebell. So that will kind of hit all the different, I guess, products that you would do with a sandbag at this point that I can foresee.
yeah.
Yeah.
I particularly like. Do you have these in stock at the moment?
Yes,
Okay,
definitely.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna buy one.
I can.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
buy
mate,
one.
I can sort you out. Yeah.
Because this is my kind of stupid where you can chuck 70 kilos worth of sand and see how long you can carry the fucking thing. Are they
Yeah.
good for like? Are they good for picking up and just like dropping over a bar? Like, can you sort of slam them a bit?
Absolutely. Yeah. Look, as I said, I've never had one return, and they can fill up to 100 kilos, and they can handle repeated drops. You don't have to lower them down. You can drop them from overhead. Um,
Excellent.
you know, you know, if it's lighter and you drop it a lot more times and it's less pressure on the bag, if it's heavier, you're probably not going to be able to do that many reps. So, it just, um, yeah, they're great. And really, the difference with ours just like those bags that those waterproof bags. So you just fill it up and then just roll it down and clip it up and then give it a good tie off. And then so you can adjust it. You might put 30 in it, or you might put 100 kilos in it,
So it's
or
like
anything in between.
so it's like a dry bag. So you fill it up and then sort
Exactly.
of close
Yeah.
it and fold it
Exactly.
down. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. That's how it closes. Um,
That's clever.
so that's yeah, very versatile, but just basic. There's no handles or anything like that. Um,
Simple is good.
exactly. And
There's
there's the
Pat
pat
there.
there. Yeah. Um, yeah. So it depends on how heavy. If it's really heavy, like for me, super heavy is my body weight, which is about 75 kilos. Higher than that, it's just probably too heavy unless I just literally pick it up, hold it to my chest, and drop it. But if I want to do, say, 2 to 3 reps of things, then my body weight's okay. But usually, I find about 80% of my body weight, around the 60 kilo mark, is good for multiple reps. Like you might do an AMRAP, like 5 reps every minute on the minute for 20 minutes, something like
What
that. And that's
what's the
yeah.
exercise you're doing?
Well, you might do, say, if you do an MRAP of 2 different exercises. So it could be a pickup and over the shoulder, could be one exercise. Do 5 reps of that, and then you might do 5 squats, and then you just might alternate between those two and do it for 20 minutes. You could add a push press into it, so you might do 3 exercises, do 7 rounds, 21 minutes, something like that. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
whatever
cool.
you're trying to target.
Do you I
Yeah.
just had a question roll in from Scotty. Do you ship to New Zealand
Hundred
on the go?
percent, absolutely. It's not that expensive to New Zealand. Actually, it's um, I think it's only about $15 or $20. So the shipping to New Zealand's pretty good.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
actually pretty
depending
cheap.
on how much. If you
Well,
get a lot of bags, it's a lot more expensive. But for one product, I think that's about the price. Yeah.
because the products would obviously this one's shipping with nothing in it. Are all your sandbags going out dry, or they uh,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't ship them with
Yeah.
sand in?
No. No way.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
So
No. That's
you're probably not getting too stuck for postage. Um,
no. No, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it works out better for everyone because everyone saves the cost of shipping. The product's a lot cheaper to make rather than,
yeah,
you can imagine. Yeah, but I mean, there's certain people that want it all filled up and ready to go. There's certain corporate gyms like Fitness First, for example. If that was the handbrake on trying to distribute to those guys was they just didn't want to deal with having to send a bunch out to each Fitness First and then have their staff fill it up and not fill it up properly and
sure,
maintain it and things like that. So yeah, but it's a logistical challenge for that to happen.
for sure.
Yeah, I
But
actually
I
a
guess
question for
yeah,
yeah, I got a
far
question
away.
for you just about some feedback. So
Yes,
one of the things was our bags are that canvasy material, like the 511 type bags. And then the other option is to do like a PVC, like a boxing bag's made of PVC. And so it's like that smooth material that can wipe down and you can get water on it, no worries, and wipe it off.
yeah,
So, and then in COVID times, now that everyone wants, obviously something that you can wipe down and sanitize, it was a decision which way to go there, which we ended up going the ballistic nylon direction because it's more durable. And we kind of get the impression that most people want that type of bag. But
yeah.
what's your thoughts on that? What do you think?
I think if the objective is to be the toughest sandbag on the planet, then you've got to go. You've got to let that tech guide you. You've got to go with
Yeah.
the more durable material.
Yeah.
Um, if it was either and you could sort of get the same results out of both,
Mm.
um, then it becomes a cosmetic thing. Then you look at which is the bigger market. Where do you think you're going to sell more of them? Who do you keep
Yeah.
happier? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
would I would say that the way that you went was probably better for me. I prefer
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I've had both. So I've had like the I guess almost plasticky um like the material that you said that you can sort of wipe down. And then
Mm.
I've had
Mm.
sort of more the ballistic, like the backpack. I think I
Style.
Yeah, I think I prefer the ballistic. I think like thinking about how it chafes, like when it's over your shoulders and stuff like that.
Mm, mm,
I think the direction you've gone is probably a
okay.
better a better choice for functionality and feel of the
Yeah.
actual bag.
Yeah. Okay. Good to hear.
Probably
That's the
sweats.
way we're going.
Yeah, probably
Very
sweats
good.
less against you too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. 100%. And
Yeah,
yeah, you can wash it as well. But
yeah.
yeah,
But I guess
thanks
if
for
you
that.
had Fitness First saying we're going to put one in every gym if you make them like this, I'd probably go, all right,
True.
let's make some special
Yeah.
ones for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, cool. What? So you've got the Medball
Mm.
um ones that you were talking about. So there's going to be a
Hmm.
new iteration of these coming soon. Um,
Hmm.
are they going to change very much cosmetically? Sorry, I'll put the camera on the screen so you guys can actually see what I'm looking at.
Oh,
Are
okay.
these
Yeah.
going to change very much?
No, from a size point of view, we're only having three sizes instead of four because we're going back to having inners. The current bags that are on the screen now, you put the sand straight in, and I'm
Okay.
still a huge fan of that option of that style because I love how the sand has the ability to shift from one end to the other. When you have multiple inners in there, sometimes the inners can you know um, they end up like uneven, and
Okay.
it's like two balls in a sock kind of thing. And
Sure.
it's if you got the foresight to unravel it and do it, that's okay. But in some gyms, trainers don't really have not all trainers have the foresight to do that and open it up and readjust it. But how we've sort of overcome that is we've got one inner per bag, and the inner takes the inner's the same size as the bag, so it fills the bag, and therefore there's no two sets of inners. So it obviously takes a little bit of versatility away from the product in terms of if you have multiple inners, you can just add one in and out to change the weight. But
Yeah.
but it's from a function point of view, it's a lot better. It's like, for example, you're going to get a rack of dumbbells. You don't want those adjustable dumbbells. You want each dumbbell with its weight. You want to pick up a 5 kilo dumbbell. You don't want a bar with it. You just screw on the weight to make it five and so
Sure.
forth. So that's the way we're going there. So yeah, it's going to have the inners. The inner, the thing is with the inner, the stronger the stitch on the inner is the one with the stitching on the outside. However, if you expose the stitching on the outside, then it's more likely to rub, and that's where it's going to break. So what we've created is the inner which takes all the brunt of it. The stitching is on the outside where it's not going to be exposed to the weather and the ground and drags and things like that. Whereas the outside of the bag, the stitching will be in the inside. So basically, that's something that'll just make it that a lot more durable. That's pretty much the solution to being the best. But as a result of that, the inner is made super strong with lots of reinforced stitching, and then the outer exterior's got all the external components. We've got better handles coming, and yeah, it's just pretty much double the price. But that's not double the price to retail, but what we have to pay for it essentially. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Cool.
raved on there. Yeah.
No, and answer the question. How long are these going to last? So if somebody buys these sandbags and they're training with them a couple of times a week, getting out in a park or on a trail and dropping them and stuff like that, how long do you say these things are going to last?
Well, legitimately, I think they should last pretty much a lifetime. I really, I believe they should. For one person in a commercial environment, I would say that you would probably get 3 to 5 years. And the reason that is just because they just get a bit worn, and like everything needs replacing in a commercial environment
Yeah.
at some point.
People
And it
abuse
really,
the shit out of stuff they don't own too. Like nothing revs as hard as a
absolutely.
hire car, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Look, we provide a 1 year warranty, and the main purpose of that, not that we're expecting it just to last a year and then, break, but more so that if you happen to get a lemon where the stitching wasn't done correctly by the supplier, which is very rarely, but that can happen, then we want to make sure that our customers are covered for that. But it really depends how you use it. If you're doing sled drags and things like that, it's material. It's like, with weight in it. If you're dragging
It's going to
40
wear.
kilos of sand over a concrete, it's just going to break. If you're slamming it, obviously, it's not a slam ball or a slam bag, but
So if you're using it
it's
as it's designed for, and if you're using it fit to purpose, you're going to get a long time out of it if you look
100%.
after it.
100%. Well, I mean, the bags that I've got haven't broken, and I use them weekly, twice weekly. So, and I've got bags from 3 years, 3+ years old with the ones that I'm using at the moment. So, but I appreciate that we've had returns, and we've had to address that, and that's why we've had to update. Yeah.
Well, mate, as I said, I'm waiting for the new stock to come in. I'm going to get a couple myself. I'm living at the Gold Coast now, so it's easy enough for me to keep them in the car, and when I want to train, just fill them up.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. So they're pretty versatile from that standpoint. Is there anything else, mate, about these? Can you talk about the new Medball ones? Did you want
Yeah,
to talk
sure.
about that much?
Well, basically, just quickly, it's got two handles on it. So you can use it for swinging like a kettlebell, cleans, presses, exactly like a kettlebell. So snatches, everything like that you can do with anything you can do with a kettlebell, you can do with, well, not anything, but pretty much you can do with a sandball. Anything you can do with a medicine ball, you can do with a sandball. So, whether you're doing rush and twist, you can throws for distance. They're super strong. We've absolutely, they're not slam balls, but I absolutely slammed the crap out of it to test it 100%. So we're starting off with 5 and 10 kilo balls. So basically the increment would be, 5 kilos, 10 kilo balls going on to 10 to 15 kilo size small bag, 20 to 30 kilo size medium, and then 35 to 50 for the size large. And then we've got the big kahuna, which is the universal sand sack that can go up to 100. So we're covered pretty much anything from 5 to 100 kilos. And that's basically it. Yeah.
Cool.
Um,
And you can definitely say no, but can I share the photo that you sent me of those slam ball, med ball?
Absolutely. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yep.
I just wasn't sure if that was
No, well, that's just the
something
prototype.
you
So
hadn't released yet, but you sort of people are going to get a bit of an idea of sort of what they are.
yep.
So a
Yep.
med
Yeah,
ball with a really strong functional handle that can be
exactly.
swung.
Yep. Yep,
Cool.
exactly. So that'll be a padded handle. And it'll be a different color to that. That's just the
Yeah,
prototype.
you did say it's a prototype.
So that's it right there.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's going to be a pretty versatile bit of gear. Just having the handles on the side of the ball too is good for things like Russian twists and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
you can do a fair bit with that. Um,
Yeah.
One more question from Corey.
Mm.
How would the bags go surviving being dunked and rolled around in water to make them heavier mid-hike? So Corey is actually the guy who was on a hike with me, and I had him in the water doing all sorts of shit, and we broke the sandbags. So it's
Right.
a pretty good
Well,
question.
to be honest, I've never tried that, but I did see a video clip of Benny Seymour. He walked into the Bondi Surf with, I don't know, maybe about a 30-kilogram sandbag. He just walked into it with a front carry, walked in until he was above head height, the water, and then walked out. And that was his session. He was just doing ins and outs of that. But I don't know the result of the sandbag. I mean, the sand will probably absorb water, and then that'll be wet and obviously a lot heavier until it completely dries out. So, mate,
I like it.
love it. I love it.
Well, when I get a set, they're going to be wet, so I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'll let you know how it goes. Is there anything else, mate?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add while we're on?
Mate, yeah, no, look, that's it. I appreciate this whole chat and interview and talking about our product. And like we're inspired by athletes, and we love obstacle course racing, and really happy to be a part of it, and continue to be part. So if there's any more events that you want to let me know about, and we can be a part of, more than happy. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely, mate. Definitely. Well, and we appreciate anyone who's supporting the sport that we all love. So, um,
Cool.
hopefully, a couple of people buy a sandbag.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can keep supporting the sport. But what I'll do, I will end the live. It is going to be live on YouTube probably tomorrow, guys,
Mm.
so you can check it out there. But you stick around, Rob. We'll keep chatting for a minute or two. But thanks for chatting, everyone. I will be at the Mackenzie Method Camp this Saturday. I will be hosting a little session there for Liam, and you will see Dingo Sandbags at the Mackenzie Method Camp. You'll also see them at the True Grit Enduro. In 3 weeks. Corey, you're going to be there carrying one as well. So you'll actually, I think a heap of the guys on this live will be at the True Grit Enduro looking at it. Yeah, so cheers for tuning in, guys. See you next time.
Thanks a lot.